Okay. We're live on both now. Perfect. Perfect. How are you? I'm fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Hi, Devin. Hi, Devin. How are you? It's been a while. Mm, perfectly hot tea. If you like warm drinks, get yourself one of those little cup heaters. They just change everything. It just changed everything for me. I love tea. And it's not my favorite thing when it gets cold. And now it doesn't ever get cold unless I want it to. It's like my favorite thing. Oh my god, it's the simple things. It is either that or I've like just really called out myself for being old because I found so much satisfaction in the fact that my tea doesn't go cold. But it is a lovely thing. Okay. Hi, Steve. Get it, get it. It changes everything. And you might even drink slightly less of it, right? Because half the time what happens is I would drink my tea really fast and then I'd go make another tea because I want that hot tea. So I would make another hot tea and another hot tea. And now I don't have to do that. I mean, I still drink a decent amount of tea, but but it's hot the entire time. It's the perfect temperature. Um, well, I appreciate you asking. I'm she her female. I don't my pronouns aren't mine anyway. Like my pronoun is I. My pronoun is me. That's my pronouns. I and me and that's really my pronouns. The pronouns that everyone else wants to use on me, I guess that's up to them. Because I really don't care. I don't. Um, yeah. Yep. It's just about, just be you, just be authentically you, right down to the core. Let yourself shine. Find out who you are. Remember, don't let anyone convince you that you have to be this way or you have to be that way or you have to fit in this box or you have to, any of that. Yeah, I guess my favorite thing is my pronouns are I and me. Like that's what they are. Like it's true. Um, Hi, Craig. How are you? We're going to talk about some astrology stuff, and we're also going to talk about some embodiment stuff. Um, and I'm also going to show you a picture I did because I love doing it. So you get to see into my life. You get to see how I am. Hmm? I have a squirrel. I have a squirrel at my. Oh my god. There's nobody on that one yet anyway, so let's just. Oh, he ran away. I'm so sorry. I probably me squealing was what caused it. But if he was there once, he'll be there again. I set up a plate a plate with some black sunflower seeds on it, and I have had pretty much all the birds, not all of the birds. I get pileated woodpeckers out there. They are huge. I haven't had any land here, but they're not after that. They're after the other feed that I have out there, and I don't have that out front. But any of the birds that like the black sunflower seeds have been out here. And now I've seen a squirrel, so he'll be back. He'll be back. My dog's gonna lose his mind because that's kind of like his bed is right in front of it. He's back. He ran by though. He's checking out, he's sussing it out. He's like, well, that bird's eating there, and he doesn't seem to be too scared. Maybe I can brave up and I can go do this. It's very entertaining. um, And it's kind of crazy, right? To think for me where I was not that long ago to where I am now. And this is what happens when you get into alignment, is that everything else starts to align around you. And so I have this beautiful home that I now live in. And last year, like within a year ago, I was in a situation where I was pretty much homeless. If it wasn't for my mom helping me out, it wasn't because I wasn't showing up every day for myself. It wasn't that I didn't think that I was doing what I was supposed to do. It wasn't anything like that. There were some things that I had to work through. I was over giving. I used to do 15 hours of lives per week for pennies. And I used to help people out all the time for free. I would run them through my programs or put them in my groups and stuff like that, because I really have a generous heart. And now I get to do that with Hugs for Homeless. I get to do all the nonprofit and generous and giving things. I get to do it through that company. And it also taught me in the last 4 years of running my company, because I've had it for 4 years now, it's taught me a lot, a lot. And that's what gets you to this point. But as I was growing, I was also evolving into myself, right? It's peeling back layers, and you remember more and you remember more and you remember more of the truth of everything. You don't just remember more about who you are. You remember more about what and who we all are, and also how we're meant to live. And so that's what I began to focus on, is the truth of the truth, and really trying to figure out what that is, and channeling stuff and writing, lots of writing. I've done lots of writing, lots of course creation, I've created lots of things. Definitely. I think I'm writing or putting together my 18th and 19th book, or my 19th and 20th. I don't know. It's somewhere up there. I will celebrate when I hit my 20th book, because I think that's pretty momentous for sure. I mean, all of it's momentous, right? It's all what you make it. So we're going to talk about some of those things, like I said, with finding the truth. And that's what I am. And that's what we should all be, as truth seekers, right? That should be what you make as a priority in your life, is I'm going to find out the truth of everything. And, you know, more pertaining to specifically you, we can hazard a pretty good guess that a lot of what's going on out in the world is lies or misinformation or baiting or polarizing, dividing. Like, there's lots of stuff that's going on, right? And it's quite a show, but that's what it is a show. What's real is you, right? That heart that's beating in your chest, that soul that's animating this temple that you're in. And when we just have to turn away from that and turn towards what's true, right? And the more of us that start doing what's true and stopping doing what's false, then the more we build that new earth that we all want, right? It would be so nice. It would be so nice. So anyway, I'm going to talk to you about True Sidereal, which is a form of astrology. And I combine True Sidereal with Krystic astrology. So I just call it Krystic astrology, but it uses True Sidereal. And I'll explain a little bit of that, because not many people are familiar with it. So tropical astrology is a format of astrology that was created about 2,000 years ago. And at that point in time, they froze the sky. So every March, there's some little things that they consider, but on March, whatever they consider to be March equinox, that is when Aries season begins. And Aries isn't even in the sun isn't in the sign of Aries. The moon isn't in the sign of Aries, like not in the true sky. It's just been, that's the way it's been. That's what tropical astrology is this is the constellations. This is how everything moves through the constellations. There's no changes, no nothing. But the Earth is spinning on an axis. So with the spinning on an axis, there's another degree that they need to consider. So the constellations have slowly been moving. And bless you, Cass. That was quite the sneeze. Yeah. Oh, another one. Would you get in your nose? You good? Okay. All right. Nothing like having that happen and like just punch your thoughts right out of your head. And you're like, what was I? Where was I? Where was I? We were talking about True Sidereal. I know that. And we were talking about tropical, and we were talking about how it froze the constellations. So what ended up happening, though, is over time, the constellations shifted. So we're about one whole sign over now. And so if you're born on March 20th, you would typically be born as an Aries, but you're actually more likely a Pisces. And that's a big difference, right? It's a big difference in everything. So when we're looking at tropical astrology, that's what mainstream is doing. And what does mainstream like to do? It likes to disconnect us from our truth, right? That's what the spiritual war is all about. It's disconnect us from our truth, confusion, like numb out of, like it's all these things, just anything to keep us from knowing what the truth is about who and what you are and how you're meant to live, how we're all meant to live. So that's your sacred quest, is to be the truth seeker that figures those things out for you, which might be slightly different than what I've discerned for myself. But one of the things that you need to learn for sure is to discern things. And we've been taught to logic things. We've been taught like your mind rules, the brain's king, and logic reigns supreme. But we're not mental beings, right? We're not mental beings, we're heart beings, right? We're led by our heart. Your heart actually is what discerns what's going on around you and sends signals to the brain that tells the brain what to do. It's basically like, okay, so this thing's going to happen. I'm going to get embarrassed. Because I'm going to get embarrassed, brain, cue these responses. And then the brain goes, flush the cheeks, raise the temperature, and the cascade happens. There's a larger network of neurons that run between the heart to the brain than there is from the brain to the heart. So, and they've discerned that with testing it about our energy, right? How far our energy can be felt and how far we can feel some other energies. So, you are a heart-focused being, not you're not supposed to be running through the brain and just your thoughts, right? Okay, this is what's right. You're supposed to feel into it as well. So if you've been traumatized, which many of us have experienced trauma of some sort, either collective trauma that all of society has experienced, or personal trauma through family systems, through school systems, there's so many ways that we get traumatized in our lives. And that it makes it really challenging that anybody is actually without some trauma. But there are a few, there are some that are out there that didn't experience trauma. And anyway, when you've experienced trauma, it changes your worldview. It changes the way that you navigate through life. I lost my train of thought. I apologize. Devin came in and I went, yay, Devin's back. And then I looked out at the birds and that was it. And I was like, oops, rewind. Anyway, we're going to talk about, to get back on whatever point that I was on initially, which is we're going to talk about True Sidereal. We're going to talk about Krystic astrology. I'm going to give you a rundown of how the planets are aligned today. I'm going to be teaching Krystic astrology course on March 20th. So look to details for that in the new year, but I just wanted to start talking about it now so you understand the way that I do things. Because a lot of my content says moon in moon in Scorpio or whatever, and it'll talk about the moon being in Scorpio. We absolutely are one. So the moon and so anyway, I'll go through and I'll explain that. I do what's called Krystic soul stream readings. And this is where I look at your birth chart, I do your natal chart using True Sidereal with Krystic astrology. So True Sidereal looks at the true sky. It looks at what is where right now, or at the time that I'm concerned with. So when you look at the sky and you start to focus on like the truth of it, you realize how disconnected we are from reality. And there's talk in the spiritual community about looshing energy, right? And this may be a term that you're familiar with, and it may be one that you're not. But what it is if I'm not utilizing the proper spiritual processes, or if I'm doing a ritual incorrectly, that I would be looshing energy. And sometimes what they like to do is get us to do rituals on something that's not true, right? So they'll say that there's going to be a total solar eclipse, and they manufacture something as an example. If this was to happen, which I'm not saying that it did, but if it was to happen where they manufactured something to look like the moon was passing in front of the sun, if the true sky revealed otherwise, I mean, that would be telling. But if they were to convince the public who isn't checking to see what the sky's really saying, and but if they check with the public and they convince them of this thing happening, and then everybody's doing rituals and is out there like putting all this energy towards this moment, they're harnessing that energy, right? So if every single time that they talk about, and by them I mean like mainstream astrology and like the mainstream information that we look at which is under tropical or seasonal astrology. So if they're saying like the last one was supposedly a new moon in Scorpio, but neither the sun nor the moon was in the constellation of Scorpio, it was actually in the constellation of Libra. So you have a whole bunch of people who are following following the astrology, but they're going to be doing rituals under the wrong moon, under the wrong sun, under the wrong planetary alignments. For a long time now, we've talked about the season of Aquarius, right? And what is the season of Aquarius? When Pluto enters into Aquarius. Pluto doesn't officially enter into Aquarius until somewhere around 2039 or 2040. Like I checked, I just can't remember. I thought I would. I should have wrote it down. But it's way out there when it actually enters into Aquarius. But the thing is that the energy of Capricorn is really powerful energy, and we're seeing the results of Capricorn and with Pluto being in Capricorn right now. We're seeing it. This is what it's revealing. So when you start to see the truth and understand the truth, and you might think to yourself, okay, well, if I have to move my astrology signs back, so if I'm I live in Alberta. Hello, sweetheart. Yeah, I was a half hour late today. I did some adulting stuff. I went and I got my mail. I have mail. I can get mail now. There's actually not. I can see what's behind me. I'm good, thanks. And even if there was, oh well, I'm not afraid of bugs. Like I let bugs be, and me and spiders have suggestions. You take a joke. Actually, try giving one first, and then when it's funny and I laugh at it, I will take it. But I just didn't find that funny. Right? It's like, I don't kill you as long as you come out when I'm asleep. I don't care, but don't be on me. And preferably don't be in the house, but but anyway, I don't kill them though. Yeah, exactly. Don't bite me. Don't bite me. Definitely don't bite me. That's top on the list. Anything that violates my physical boundary like that, anything that bites me is free game. I won't kill anything else, but I will kill anything that's going to bite me. It's like you started this. I wouldn't hurt you if you just go away. I say that to mosquitoes all the time. I'm like, if you just left, go bite a cow, go bite something else. But if you're coming at me, we're gonna throw up. We're gonna. I'm peaceful because I choose to be peaceful. So anyway, with True Sidereal, if you're with the last new moon, we would have been celebrating that new moon being in Libra. And then I went on to say, because Carol came in and that distracted me, hello love, and also the bug thing. Anyway, when you look at your astrology and you'll be like, with me, I'm a Sagittarius, or at least I was in tropical. So when I say, well, I'm going to move a sign up, moving a sign up would mean Ophiuchus, because there's a 13th sign. And that's the other part of using True Sidereal versus any other format of astrology, is that it considers the 13th sign. And what Krystic adds to it, why it's not just True Sidereal, that's all that I'm teaching. What Krystic does is it removes the lies that they've incorporated into each of the signs, because when we agree to the label, right? When we agree to the label and we adopt what the label has as its underlying things, we become that. So if someone is Virgo in tropical and they look at what it says about Virgo, Virgo is a very critical, service oriented, they are perfectionists. They have these negative attributes to them, and that's not the case. That's not the way that it's meant to be interpreted either. And it's not about your personality. It's about how you're meant to move through your life, in this incarnation, how you're meant to move through this life, like how your oversoul or your soul is meant to move through this life. So it's your soul stream is what I call it. So anyway, we're going to talk about today, what today looks like, and we're going to talk about embodiment stuff, because we need to be embodying. I had a conversation with a friend, and if I want to be a certain thing, what do I have to do? I have to be it. I just have to be it. If I want to be someone who has a cleaner house, you know what I have to do? I have to clean my house, or I have to pay someone to clean my house. I have two choices, right? Or I could get a live-in and let them stay here for free just for cleaning the house, right? Like, I have choices, but there are choices that I have to make. I have to do something, in other words, right? There's the actually taking action on things. So what do you want to be, right? If you want to be a business owner, did you start your company? Do you have an idea of a company? Are you planning? Are you what are you doing to get there? Because if you're just thinking and waiting, you're not doing anything. You have to something. It doesn't even have to be big. It doesn't even have to be big. It just has to be one step, or just call it a step. One step in that direction, one task, one item, take it off your list, right? And I gotta show Carol's comment of one. All right, so we're going to talk about the Krystic astrology. We're going to talk about embodiment, and that might be it. That might be it. That might be it. Yeah. So let me get my notes up because I have a whole bunch of notes on today's planetary alignment. All right. So today's alignment, we know that the sun is in Scorpio. The sun entered Scorpio a few days ago, and so it will remain in Scorpio for a month. Just not at the times that that they said it should be there. Because remember, we supposedly had that new moon in Scorpio back on the 19th, which is interesting because the sun didn't even get into Scorpio until now. Anyway, that's why I use True Sidereal. So today's energy, because we're talking about sun in Scorpio and moon in Capricorn. So we're talking about some very grounded, deep, strategic energy, right? Because Scorpio is deep and both of them are strategic. And Capricorn is very grounded. So you are invited to transmute what is hidden and build with intention. We should be doing everything with intention. Go for a walk with intention, make your tea with intention, eat with intention. Everything that you do, that you put intention into, is going to reward you in a great way. So you're invited to transmute and also build, right? Because we've got that transmutation of Scorpio and we've got that building energy of Capricorn, that energy, right? This is good masculine energy. This is a power rooting day, bridging your soul shadow work with, that's the Scorpio energy, with divine structure, which is the Capricorn energy. So our planetary positions, like I said, we have the sun in Scorpio. This is the Phoenix gate. This is your oversoul mirror and soul contract flame. So it's still burning through those layers of illusion. The sun in Scorpio supports deep truth excavation. So this is a time to get real. Get real with yourself, get real with the patterns in your life, get real with people and situations around you, right? This is the karmic pattern review and soul level transformation. So I have a question for you to help you move through some of the energy of today. And that is, what core truth are you reclaiming through fire? Okay. What core truth are you reclaiming through fire? And that's the Phoenix energy, because Scorpio is a water sign, but Scorpio has multiple forms, and one form of Scorpio is the Phoenix. So we got the moon in Capricorn, and with the moon in Capricorn, that's the builder's moon. It's rooted emotion and sacred responsibility. That's a really beautiful way to talk about the energy of providing, or even just like when you put sacred in front of responsibility, it really changes the energy of responsibility. So the moon now grounds the emotional energy into form, because that's what the moon governs, is your emotional landscape. So you're going to take practical steps, because that's that great energy of Capricorn. Your practical steps, inner commitments, and soul integrity are the focus, right? So Capricorn being focused on the emotional landscape. We're looking at that in the integrity that you're carrying, right? Because that's a very big attribute of Capricorn, is integrity. I did that. Thank you. And Capricorn is very committed energy. Like when Capricorn says that they are doing something, they're doing something, right? They're the goat that climbs the mountain. All right, so those are the sun and the moon. And then we've got Mercury in Libra, and we also have Venus in Libra. And remember, we were talking yesterday about the daily triad that we need to be checking in with. And the daily triad, remember, is your moon for emotions, Mercury for thoughts and communication, and Venus for attraction and relationships, like your desires and stuff. So when we're looking at those, that's what we're going to check in on daily. Now, the moon changes every 2 to 3 days, unless, every 2 to 3 days. The other ones change a little longer. So we'll have the Mercury in Libra and Venus in Libra for a longer amount of time, because they're planets that are out a little bit outer. So the 3 planets we want to check in on daily, this is your triad. This is your daily triad, and that is the moon. So check and see what sign it's in. Venus and Mercury. So the moon is your emotional landscape. Mercury, and I know I said Mercury and Venus in reverse last time, but Mercury is thoughts and communication. And Venus is relationships and desire, and relationship and desire. So attraction. It's attraction, right? My cup's got my cup's more is a homemade cup, so it's just not a perfect. I thought there was a woodpecker outside tapping on the deck. So I was like, wait a second, what is that knocking? It's just my cup. Is that good? Because I can repeat it again. And we'll talk about it. I'll bring it up numerous times, like over the next little while, because I want to do these daily check-ins with you, at least Monday to Friday. Another thing that I would suggest that you do is just, when you're tracking this, if you're going to do it, you're going to check the daily triad, and you're going to go, okay, so this is in this sign, and this is in, and so forth. Do a little note each day about how you felt emotionally, how your thoughts or your mental landscape was, and how you felt like through like the attraction, right? Like, how are your relationships? How was your relationship with yourself? Did you feel good about yourself? Did you feel attractive? Did you, pursue your desires? Like, so if you start asking yourself those questions, then you'll start to understand, okay, so when the moon is in Capricorn, I feel more like this. And when when Mercury is in Venus, or when Mercury is in this sign, when Mercury is in this sign, I feel, or I think my thoughts and my mental landscape is like this, right? So you can start to understand how you feel and express yourself under the different signs. Because the way that they're going to affect you is going to be different depending upon your astrological makeup, right? Because they're coming to teach you or open you up to certain things. It's not about like it's all lessons or something like that, but it's it can trigger you to remember. They can do a variety of things for you. All right, so we've got our Mercury in Libra, and hello, Leslie, how are you? We have Mercury in Libra, which is the voice of balance, and it is sacred dialogue. Mercury continues to move through Libra's harmonizing gate, inviting dialogue, peacemaking, and contracts of the soul. So our Krystic prompt, or the questions that we can ask ourselves to work with the energy of this moon, is, can you speak with grace and still hold truth, right? Because the truth doesn't have to be loud. You don't have to yell it. You don't have to bash someone over the head with it. You don't have to beat somebody up when you're telling the truth. The truth speaks for itself. The resonance in your body, the literal vibration or the frequency that you're emitting when you're speaking the truth, is picked up by other people. They may not be in tune with their bodies to understand the truth or to discern it, which is why learning that is a beautiful thing, a tool to have in your toolkit, right? Be the person that checks in with their body. Be the person that feels when there's truth or lie. Be the person that can discern. And but many people, they don't. So they're just going on face value, or they're going with what they're hearing, as opposed to what their body's telling them or what their heart's saying, because of what the frequency is coming off, the vibration that's coming off of the person that's speaking. So harmony does not mean silence. It doesn't mean silence, but you can speak with grace, you can speak with love, or put compassion into there. We weren't always as awake as we are. Is one of the things I like to remind myself. I wasn't always at this level of being aware of what, to me, I've discerned to be the truth. So we have Venus in Libra. This is the rose mirror and love in right alignment. So Venus continues her graceful presence in Libra, asking us to align relationships, beauty, and pleasure with divine order. So your Krystic key is what you desire reveals your belief about your worth. That's a big one, Carol. I think we should write that one down. That was like yesterday's big one that we had. Right? If I'm desiring, and it does tell you a lot about what your self-worth is. So what you desire reveals your belief about your worth. Upgrade accordingly. Right? Upgrade accordingly. Know your worth. Know your value. When I walk around this house, I remind myself that this is what I deserve. This is what I am worth, right? This isn't something that's out of my range, or this isn't something that only people who are a certain way or have certain childhood or whatever, right? What you desire reveals your belief about your worth. Yep. Upgrade accordingly. All right, so we got Mars and Ophiuchus. This is the action as resurrection, and sacred will in motion. Okay, sacred will in motion. Mars and Ophiuchus is the cosmic warrior reborn, activating actions that liberate, heal, and renew. Beautiful energy. Beautiful energy. So let your action be medicine, not ego. Right? So move in the direction that's aligned with you and your truth, not through the window of ego. I was going to say the mirror, and technically the mirror as well. Everything's a mirror, right? Okay, so we got Jupiter and Gemini, and this is expansion through paradox, the mind stretching and soul teaching. So Jupiter continues to bridge opposites. Dual perspectives may arise. Your task is to hold them both in unity, right? Not allow there to be that polarity or division. This and that are true. Red and blue are both the same. And so it's all just to show and free your mind. So your mind is the field, belief is the seed. So what are you planting in your mind? Are you planting weeds, or are you planting, stuff that you really want to grow? Upgrade, engaged. I love it. I love it. All right. So then we got Saturn in Aquarius. This is system reformer. This is the sacred architect of the new earth. The old grids are crumbling, and we're seeing this all over the place. How many things are falling? Look at Nepal, look at Italy, look at like all these places, right? It's incredible. So Saturn here teaches through frequency-based structure and oversoul laws. So your boundaries must now reflect your highest frequency standard. Right. Yesterday, we said that discipline was devotion to your highest frequency. right? Today we're saying now that your boundaries must now reflect your highest frequency standard. Oh. I think that's pretty powerful. All right, then we got Uranus and Taurus, and this is the Earth Awakener, frequency liberation through the body, right? Taurus is very grounded energy. So with Uranus, it continues to shake the somatic field. So those emotions that are rising in you that are all of a sudden, it can be because they're just being shaken out of like the somatic tissue. And now you're experiencing them and you're feeling them. And it's just, it may be coming out of nowhere. In a lot of ways it is. So this is rewriting relationship to matter, nourishment, and embodied worth. So this is where we stand in our value. We stand in our worth. We know it. We just know it. And it's not anything that you have to, like convince yourself of. You don't have to do the affirmations. You just know, right? So what part of your embodiment has become a prison? And that's a big question to ask, because right now you may be, everything that you're doing is embodiment, right? Whatever actions that you're taking, whatever choices that you're making, that's the you that you've decided to embody. Because that's what you do. It's embodiment is architecture. Like that's how you build your life, is through the actions that you take. So if I'm somebody who wants to have a 6-pack and do like 20 pull-ups and all of that stuff, well, I'm not going to get there just walking around my property twice a day, right? That's not the type of person that I have to be in order to have that physique, right? In order to do those tasks, to be able to have a 6-pack, to be able, and that might be something that would never even be possible for me. It might be. So, you have to have flexibility in some of those things too. But nonetheless, I would have to be doing exercise. Exactly. I would be having to carry weights around. Like I could do exercises on my property. I could involve all the free like stuff that's there, like logs and whatever, right? Yeah, I could do stuff on my property, but just walking around my property alone will not get me to the point where I'm going to be able to do 20 pull-ups or have a 6-pack, right? Unless I'm doing something else in combination with it, but that alone is not enough. So that's not what that person that has that lifestyle, that's not what they're doing. They're doing much more, much more, right? They're lifting weights. They're doing a lot, right? Yeah, I don't drink at all though. So if I'm carrying 6-packs, it's probably 6 packs of water or 6 packs of, I don't know, maybe juice. I don't know. I'll just carry, I don't know what I would carry. Yeah, but whatever is imprisoning you into a lifestyle that you don't want, you have to set that free. It's okay to change. It's okay to let it go. It's okay to not be the same person you were last year or before you would. We've got Neptune and Pisces. This is the mystic veil, the soul stream return. So the dream field remains potent. Make sure you're interpreting it from a clear and purified lens. That's important. If you're interpreting it, using the wrong information, then then you're not getting accurate information of your dreams, and that it's not going to help you, right? It's not going to help you at all. So the Krystic channel today is today's dream is yesterday's truth returning for redemption. I get some pretty interesting sayings sometimes, So Pluto and Capricorn. This is the underworld throne. This is the collapse of false authority. So now we're talking, this is where we got on this conversation earlier, where we were talking about that is the season of Aquarius, right? We're not in the season of Aquarius. We're in Capricorn season. Pluto is still in Capricorn until somewhere 2039, 2040. So still a ways out there. I ran through the live sky. I went on Pluto, and he's sitting in Capricorn, and I kept scrolling forward every year until I saw that he went into Aquarius. And then I went through all of the months, and I went to the exact time that Pluto went to Aquarius. And I was like, well, that's not now. But it makes sense when you know the truth about the signs and how they show up. So with both the moon and Pluto in Capricorn, emotional and collective structure is being dismantled. Power is returning to the soul. So today we get the double dose because of the moon being in here, but that reads true for Capricorn season. This is about the collective structure being dismantled, power being returned to the soul. So that's the energy that we're in right now. And that's powerful energy, but we've been told we're in the season of Aquarius, right? So the Krystic truth here is, do not rebuild what was never yours to hold, right? Step into divine authorship. Start building your truth, whatever that is, whatever it is that you desire for life. Start building that. Don't live a life that somebody else has told you you should live. If that was the case, I'd still be nursing. Would I be happy? Probably not. It got me to burn out once. I probably would get to burn out a second time. I mean, I have a little bit better tools at this point in time, but the system doesn't stay the same either. It gets worse and worse. And I know from being in it, you get a job and they're like, here. And you're like, cool, I can manage that. And then a little while later, they're like, wow, you're doing your job so well. It looks like you've got some free time on your hands. Here, we're going to give you this task now as well. And you're like, whoa, that's a lot, but you're a good employee. So you keep trudging along, and eventually you learn how to manage it all. And you start, I got it now. I got these systems in place. I've got a routine now. I'm good. Then you start to get ahead. Your boss comes along. Wow, you look like you're doing pretty good. You can take on this role now too. And then we can eliminate that position, and then you get to burnout. So it's not just you, like it's not a failure on your part necessarily. Okay, so the celestial synthesis, you have to do what you're supposed to do and just say screw it, right? Screw it to what everyone else says or thinks. All right, so the celestial synthesis, we have our sun in Scorpio and Mars in Ophiuchus. This is transmutation and resurrection. We've got the moon and Pluto in Capricorn, which is deep emotional reconstruction. And we have Mercury and Venus in Libra, which is relationship harmony and thought form realignment. So today is the day to build soul-aligned systems from the ashes of old constructs. So what are we building anew for this new earth? What are we building? I have a couple of rituals or practices for you for today. One is the Capricorn moon ritual. So I want you to write a vow to your soul path, just one sentence, just one vow to your soul path, to the true path, this thing that you know what's inside of you, you know what drives you, right? So write it down, write a vow to your soul path, one sentence, and then speak it out loud to the earth. Then there's Scorpio transmutation. You're going to breathe into the shadow, exhale through your hands, and release. Okay. And then we have your check-ins, your questions. So the moon is, what am I feeling? Capricorn. Mercury, what is seeking to be said? Libra. And Venus, what am I magnetizing and why? Okay, because Venus is also in Libra. Okay, so those are your questions. And that was only the first part of what I wanted to talk about today. That was just the Krystic astrology stuff. Now we're going to talk about embodiment, oversoul and embodiment stuff. Yep. It's in doing these things that we end up getting into that space of true alignment, and life is beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful when you're in alignment. All right, so our oversoul embodiment, what it actually means. So most people think that Oversoul Embodiment means receiving guidance or hearing intuition, right? We think of it as almost like a psychic gift, or like clairaudience maybe would be more, or even maybe with some claircognizance of having just more of a knowing, right? Which would fall into that intuition character. And we'd be like, okay, yeah, I'm connected to my higher self. I'm connected to my Oversoul. But true embodiment is far beyond that, right? You breathe from truth rather than fear, right? You choose alignment instead of survival. You speak from clarity instead of reaction. And you move as the version of yourself that already remembers, okay? Oh, there's all kinds of stuff just going on with politics. I don't know. I don't want to focus on that, on like that. There's so many things. Like if you were to like what people think about Canada from outside of Canada is completely different than what we see inside, because we are very censored and our news is very crafted for us, specifically with the Liberal Party in mind. So it's all propaganda. And so the best thing that you can do is protect your mental health and focus on you. And like I said, when we take our attention away from that, when we resist those things, that's what's going to get us through it all too. Look at, I painted this today. I follow a lady on well, pretty much all the channels. I think I follow her on everything, on TikTok, or like on, well, definitely on YouTube and on Facebook. I follow her on at least those two channels. And so anyway, I just do stuff that sometimes I'll do hers. I have a bunch of people that I follow and I'll do some tutorials. So it's not about calling in your Oversoul. It's about letting your Oversoul live through you. Okay. So how does the Oversoul embodiment feel in your body? Right? Does anyone have any idea? Like, do they feel that they're embodying their Oversoul and can speak from, from a space of experience, or just know from having acquired this information before, or want to share? That little dog was cute. I had some golden retrievers in my time. They're so just lovely. Okay, so you can tell when Oversoul is embodied because your body actually relaxes. If you go through your body right now, and I want you to just say, I now relax my shoulders, and then follow the command. Did you notice a big change in your shoulders? Like, did you notice it drop drastically, or that feeling spread out really? Because if you did, then that shows you how not relaxed you were, right? And if you did that and you felt really not a lot of movement at all, like it was very subtle, right? I know, it's so freaking cute. Did I do the one on this one? No, it's not in this book. She did this, I think she did this one too. This was another one of the ones that she painted. So I did that. Or it's either Rebel or, yeah, anyway, I don't remember. It's not in the, I don't have the, it's not in this one. The dog's not in this one, but it is very cute. All right, so your body relaxes, your breath slows. Like if you check in on your breath right now, where's your breath? Are you breathing up here? Are you breathing down into your stomach? Are they, regular breathing, or are they a bit short? I mean, I don't think many of us are doing deep inhale and exhale, and, you know, I don't think we're doing that. But so check in on that. Your chest opens. Do you feel any tightness or constriction in your chest? Right. Another thing that happens, which is interesting, but this is tied to confidence, but is the distance between your ear and your collarbone lengthens because you're standing up erect and your shoulders are in the right alignment. And when we're traumatized or when we're dealing with low self-worth and a lot of the results, we tend to hold ourselves differently. We shrink our neck down, raise our shoulders up, hunch ourselves over, curving, right? Yes. So then your awareness also becomes clearer, right? You feel grounded and present, and you're not spending your time in your head living out like fantasies or, chasing the future, reliving the past. You're not dwelling on things. You're not overthinking things, right? Your brain waves would be really calm too, but the thoughts aren't just flying in your head. It's just a very grounded, very present feeling. So Oversoul Embodiment has a tone. It's calm, it's clear, it's direct. With your ego, the ego feels tight. The Oversoul feels spacious. The ego argues. The Oversoul instructs. So it's just telling you what to, like, we're doing this. Like, we're doing this. We're doing this. This is what we said we were going to do, and we're going to do it. The ego panics, but the Oversoul knows. Like, there's no need for it to panic. It knows. All right, so we're going to do this. We're going to take a breath. I don't know. I'm trying to focus on my thing right now, Leslie. I'm not sure what you're. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna do this little exercise and try it out, and then, okay. So just put your hand on your chest. Okay. Take a nice deep breath. Okay. Out nice and slow. We're going to take a couple of those because I find 3 tends to be good. Our brains are too busy to drop after 1. So another big breath in. And then out. And 1 more. Nice and slow. Fill up the tummy. And then out. Now, you're going to ask this question. If my Oversoul was in charge of my life today, how would I move? What would I say? What would I stop doing? What would I begin? Do not think, feel. Your first answer is the Oversoul. Right. He's having such a good little sleep. It's so cute. I love it when he snores. So in January, on the 9th, I'm starting a course called Bridge to Light Phase 2. I've already taught Phase 1. You can find out information about that on my website. But Phase 2 is not about hearing guidance, it's about living from it. So I'm not teaching you to hear, your spirit team or channel a deity or anything like that. I'm getting you to connect to your oversoul and live from that embodied space. That's what Phase 2 is. It's embodiment, it's breath-based, it's cellular, it's architectural. It is the moment when you stop consulting the mind and begin living from your higher intelligence. Phase 2 teaches you how to stabilize oversoul embodiment so it becomes your normal state, not a momentary peak. So it's not teaching you so that you can have this, you'll have like 3 months after the course where you'll be just bang on, and then after that that's it, right? Like, it's not a short-lived thing. And it does depend on you though, because embodiment means that you are embodying it, not me. So you do have to. Yeah. What did you think about that? I went around and put some posters up today, got my mailbox, drove down to the lake so I could see where it is. So I could see where it was. And tomorrow I'm going to go out and do some stuff again. And I'm going to find my mailbox, because my mailbox is just on, it's a bank of mailboxes on this road. I just got to find it. I tried today, but I didn't go far enough down. It's further, further than what I drove, unfortunately, but that's okay. It's okay. I'll figure it all out. At least I've been around the neighborhood a little bit more now, and that's nice. It took a lot. I did not want to leave. Yesterday I was going to go and do this. I was going to take and put posters up for hugs, and I was going to put some donation bins out. And I also made a commitment to do lives every day this week. So anyway, yesterday I couldn't get, I just wasn't ready to do it. I didn't feel like doing it. And then today I started convincing myself not to go. And then I was like, at least go get your mailbox, and get, whatever. Because I just love my house so much. I love my house. I love my property. I love what I do for my day, right? Like I do watercolors. I do my company. I do hugs for homeless. Like, I love my life. And so I don't seek anything outside of me and Kat, like me and Cass. Like, Cass is, he's my bestie. He's my buddy. All right, so we're going to do a little overview of what we covered today. Oh yeah, I know. I'm aware of, like, lice and bed bugs and stuff like that. I know those things are more prevalent in those types of communities. So today's November 25th, 25, and we meet under the Capricorn moon. That's what we did. We met, we speak proper English helps. We met under the Capricorn moon, which is a day of sacred construction, inner maturity, and architectural alignment. It can be, it very much can be. The sun continues to blaze in Scorpio, the realm of shadow, resurrection, and soul contracts. And today, these two form the gate of transmutation and building, burning away what's false and laying the foundation for what is real. So today is not about waiting. Today is about building from the soul, not the wound. So we said we had the sun in Scorpio, which is the Phoenix gate. and it's asking, what core truth are you reclaiming through fire? That was what our question was. The moon in Capricorn, which was that beautiful sacred responsibility. It was asking us, where must I become the sacred architect of my inner foundation? So what do you need to change to be in alignment with your truth, with what you want, what you planned for yourself? Mercury in Libra is the voice of harmony. Can I speak with grace and still hold truth? Venus in Libra, the rose mirror. What I desire reveals my belief about my worth. Is it time to upgrade? Maybe it's just upgrades already downloaded. Mars and Ophiuchus is sacred action. So let your action be medicine, not ego. Jupiter and Gemini is the paradox expansion. Can I hold two truths and still move forward? Saturn in Aquarius is the system reformer. What structures now reflect your highest frequency standard? Uranus and Taurus, the earth awakener. What part of your embodiment has become a prison? Set it free. Neptune and Pisces, the mystic veil. What dream is returning to be seen with new eyes? Are you dreaming a dream that you've had before? What I believe is to find worth in myself. Oh, you are worthy. You're so worthy. You always were. It's such a shame what happens in society and all the ways that we're traumatized to believe that we are less than or too much or all kinds of terrible things that we think about ourselves, and we are all sacred. Pluto in Capricorn is underworld authority. Do not rebuild what was never yours to hold. Step into divine authorship. So that's like the person that goes and becomes a doctor because their parents wanted to be a doctor and didn't become a doctor, right? So you're building that life that they didn't have. You're building their dream for them. Don't do that. Build your own dreams, right? As an example of that one. So so now we're going to talk about briefly, we're going to recap the embodiment segment, the Oversoul Embodiment segment. So Oversoul Embodiment is more than just hearing guidance. It's becoming it. So you breathe from truth instead of fear. You choose from alignment instead of survival. And you move as the version of yourself that already remembers. Oversoul Embodiment feels like slowed breath, calm awareness, truth with no panic, spacious direction, not urgency. So that Oversoul practice that we did, right? If your Oversoul was leading today, you were going to ask it those questions. If you didn't do that, I'll do that when we went through it. Just do it at another time. Maybe do it before bed. Just breathe a few times, nice and slow. Get yourself out of your head and into your body. And if you're singing a song right now, I love you. But anyway, you're going to get out of your head and into your body, and you're going to ask yourself these questions. If my Oversoul was leading today, what would I do? What would I release? And what would I become? And let the first answer guide you, because your Oversoul is going to answer quickly. It knows exactly. And it's going to feel right. That's the other part, is it's actually going to feel right. So Bridge to Light Phase 2, that's what this is about. This is what Bridge to Light Phase 2 is all about, is Oversoul Embodiment. It's not inspirational. It's not just to inspire you or anything like that. And it's, it's anchoring the Oversoul as your new normal. It's embodying the Oversoul as your new normal. My goodness, I could not get those words in the right order. I think I'm getting heated up a lot by the sun, which is lovely, by the way. We started out today with felt like -17. And when I went out, it wasn't that cold, but that's chilly. So the sun feels fantastic. We're going to go for a walk right after this. So it's anchoring Oversoul Embodiment as your new normal. That's what I'm teaching you in Phase 2. It's breath-based, cellular, and structural. I teach you to stabilize soul intelligence, to walk as it, and to become the breath of the living flame, which is awesome. I have to take a drink though. And I talked about our daily practices that we could do to harness the energy. So we had the Scorpio transmutation, which was breathing into the shadow. So we have shadows, right? Breathe into it, exhale through your hands, and release it. The Capricorn ritual was to write down one sentence as a vow to your soul path, and then speak it to the earth. And your check-in based on the moon, the moon, Mercury, and Venus was, what am I feeling? What must be spoken? And what am I magnetizing? And we're going to share, we're going to say this one thing today. Sorry, the birds are distracting a little bit. They are. So you're not here to reach for your oversoul. You're here to become it. That's what we're here. We're here to marry heaven with earth by becoming our oversoul and embodying that in this temple that we have. And that's how heaven gets created on earth. It's as simple as that. So you're here to become your oversoul, and that's the path of the bridge to light. Gaia very much is. She very much is. It's beautiful. So that's all I had as my notes of stuff that I wanted to talk about and teach today. And yeah, any questions or anything that anyone else wanted to talk about, you could do that. Yeah. There's none of that. I definitely don't teach any of that. Yeah. We have all lived many lives and had many amazing experiences, and you're so much more than what you think you are. Possibly. I just think that there's a lot of people who are teaching false information, and they get promoted because they are teaching false information, because it's just another layer of what keeps us disconnected. Right? There's a lot of things. You can hang out with me in like one of my membership groups, and we'll talk more in depth about things. Like, it's easier for me to teach things in my membership groups because it's my group. It's my website. It's my domain name. It's, that's being hosted on my platform. It's like, so it's different to be able to talk about things in those groups and be very honest about stuff. Whereas here, I probably, I know that a lot of people are very careful with what they say, because certain words may get them flagged and certain words may get them censored and, stuff like that. So I know that people are very cautious about what they're saying. And that's why sometimes it's better to connect in other spaces. Yeah, as you remember more, you align more to yourself, right? The truth sets you free. The more that you know the truth about things, and particularly yourself, the more aligned that you're going to be with everything in your life. And the other stuff just fades away, right? And like I was saying earlier, you just know how, who and what you are. You love yourself unconditionally. You have infinite value. That's never a question. You know that the world that we're living in is very distorted, very inverted, kind of clown world. And we can all agree to that, that it's a bit of a clown show out there right now. In many of the areas, right? Yeah. It's like labels, right? That's all the labels are. It's just another cage. Just another cage. I'm working on creating a calendar that actually follows the way that we were supposed to follow the calendars. So it's going to be based on moons. Hi, Edie. It's been so long. How are you, love? Oh, TT. That's so awesome. I stayed on just long enough. How are you? I had a blue jay out at my feeder. It's just a plate that's turned upside, that's sitting on top of a pot, a plant pot. Leave it. Nope, I'm in Alberta. I'm living in Alberta now. Oh, you meant on the, never mind. It's so good to see you too. I'm trying to do lives around 1 p.m. Mountain Time, which would be 3 p.m. Eastern, maybe 3:30. I have that little bit of flex, so 3:30 Eastern. And that's just because, like, if I go into town and run around, I'll go live as soon as I get back, and that could be a little bit later. I'm just trying to balance both Anshara'El plus Hugs for Homeless. And Hugs for Homeless just means that I have to go into town and do things. I have to put posters up. I have to, when we get bags together, we have to distribute them. I have to, have communications with people in certain areas and stuff like that. So there's a lot of stuff moving at this point in time, but I love it. Yeah, I'm super, super excited about it. It's like it's just finally, right? I had been talking about this. Chris and I talked about Hugs for Homeless for the whole time that we were together, and also the whole time that we weren't. So this is something that's been at least 12 years that we've been talking about. And because we were able to stay friends after we went our separate ways, when he started Hugs for Homeless and asked me if I wanted to help, I took the opportunity to jump at that. And so yeah, you can do it. I know it's kind of nervous doing things on your own, right? It is much easier to do things with a friend or in pairs. If people only knew how much doing stuff like that benefited your mental health and how much better it made you feel when you went out and helped those less fortunate, everybody would be jumping at it. Everybody would be like, yeah, sign me up for that. Because it gives back to you emotionally and spiritually so much. Yeah, so we had that we were saying that to each other. If you don't do it, I'm going to do it was kind of what we were. If you don't do it, I'm going to do it. If you don't do it, I'm going to do it. And I kind of left it to him as being like something that belonged more to him. So I was giving him some time, but I was getting close to the point where I was going to be like, nope, I'm just going to start this. And so when he said that he asked me to help him with it, I said yes. And so we became partners in business, and it's going really well, which is awesome. And yeah, so I am definitely panhandling for donations. We are going to get 10 backpacks together this week to distribute into the community, which is going to be really awesome. And we're putting more flyers around. We will at some point have like donation tables set up. Yeah, tons of things. I'm going to get a walk together. So for those that are in Edmonton, I'm going to try to put a walk together for maybe February, so that we can get funds for more backpacks, for more hugs. That's what the hugs are. So yeah, anyway, any bit helps, even doesn't matter. Like every dollar helps. Every dollar helps. Right, Cass? There's a cute little woodpecker at the feeder. There's a little downy one. A walk? That kind of walk. Okay, I get it. That's very lovely. I don't know what that means. I wish you luck, but I like to recognize all life. I don't know what that means. So do I, but I don't understand what that means. I'm confused. Like what I was talking about was the homeless and how's. I feel like that was recognizing the disenfranchised at the very least. But anyway, I love you guys, and I am going to hop off here because that sun is starting to like really heat me up, and I think I'm going to close the curtain or take a sweater off or something like that so that I'm not so warm, and also get my dog out for a walk. I will see you guys tomorrow, like I said, around 3 p.m. Eastern, which is 1 p.m. Mountain, or noon Pacific. Oh, I know. I support all life as well. You should see, I spend probably like $100 and some a month just to feed the birds. I put a salt lick out for the deer. Like my home is a sanctuary. Like the 40 acres that I live on is a sanctuary for animals. It's posted. So yes, all life, all life. But anyway, Hugs for Homeless is for the homeless. That's true. And that's that. All right. I love you guys. Mwah. Have a beautiful day. I will see you guys tomorrow. I'm starting to melt. Bye, guys.